12th grade vocabulary words, teacher's list. Week 1. Adamant. Utterly unyielding in attitude or opinion in spite of all appeals, urgings. Albeit. Conjunction, although, even though. Amiss. Faulty, imperfect, and not as it should be, wrong, adverb, in a mistaken or improper way, wrongly. Analogy. A comparison between two things, typically on the basis of their structure and for the purpose of explanation or clarification. Analysis. Data collected during experimentation, researchers must determine if the data is reliable and whether it supports the hypothesis. Approbation. The expression of approval or favorable opinion, praise, official approval. Attribute. Ascribe, explain, relate to a particular source or cause. Audacious. Recklessly daring, bold, intrepid, fearless. Aversion. Affixed, intense dislike, repugnance. Avocation. Occupation away from one's customary occupation, hobby. Baffle. Bewilder, perplex, fill with confusion, puzzle, frustrate. Ballad. A narrative song or poem that tells a story. Battalion. A large organized group of soldiers. Bauble. Trinket, a piece of jewelry or small decorative object that is not worth much money, trifle. Beau. A boyfriend. Belligerent. Eager to fight, hostile or aggressive. Bemoan. To express distress or grief over, lament. Benefactor. One who supports or helps another. Beneficiary. A person who receives something good from someone else, such as an inheritance. Bequeath. To leave property or money by a will, to pass along to someone. Twelfth grade vocabulary words, teacher's list. Week 2. Bibliophile. Someone who loves, and usually collects, books. Bilateral. Having two sides, made between two persons or groups. Blasé. Apathetic to pleasure or excitement as a result of excessive indulgence or enjoyment, bored, uninterested, and satiated. Boorish. rude or clumsy in behavior, crude, barbaric. Bosom. The breast of a human, chest, a person's breast or chest. Buttress. A support usually of stone or brick, something that supports or strengthens. Cadaverous. Pale, gaunt, resembling a corpse. Caricature. Drawing, imitation, or description that ridiculously exaggerates peculiarities or defects. Carnal. Passions related to the body as opposed to the spiritual, it also means having to do with sexual experience. Cataclysm. Sudden violent change, catastrophe, disaster. Caustic. Sarcastic in a hurtful way, harsh, grating, burning or stinging, causing corrosion. Chameleon. Lizard that changes color in different situations, a changeable or inconsistent person. Chivalry. The sum of the ideal qualifications of a knight, including courtesy, generosity, valor, courtesy towards women, and dexterity in arms. Circumspect. Cautious, aware of potential consequences. Cliché. A sentence or phrase that has lost originality or impact from overuse, overused. Coddle. To baby, to make a task so easy that it requires virtually no effort, to spoil or pamper. Coercion. Use of force to compel someone to obey, threat of violence or reprisal. Cognizant. Knowledgeable of something especially through personal experience, aware, mindful. Colloquial. Conversational, using everyday language, used in conversation but not in formal speech or writing. Collusion. Secret cooperation or agreement, usually to accomplish something illegal, conspiracy, secret cooperation. 12th grade vocabulary words, teacher's list. Week 3. Compile. To produce a book, list, report by bringing together different items. Compulsory. Required, mandatory, obligatory. Concurrent. Running together, occurring at the same time, simultaneous. Confluence. Flowing together, especially of streams, figuratively a coming together of people, ideas, or events. Conjecture. An opinion formed without complete information, an opinion or idea based on a guess rather than on definite knowledge. Connoisseur. An expert in matters of culture, food, or wine, a devoted expert. Consecrate. To dedicate something to a holy purpose, to make sacred, hallow, to set apart for a special purpose. Considerable. Rather large or great in size, distance, or importance. Conspire. To plan together secretly to commit an illegal act. Constable. An officer whose duty is to maintain the peace. Constituency. The voters in a district represented by an elected official, supporters to a legislative body. Constraint. Something that limits your freedom to be able to do something, embarrassed awkwardness, repression of feelings. Contemptible. Deserving of scorn, disgraceful, very bad. Context. The set of facts or circumstances that surround a situation or event. Contraband. Illegal traffic, smuggled goods. Contumacy. Obstinate or contemptuous resistance to authority, stubborn rebelliousness, insubordination. Conventional. Conforming to accepted standards, traditional. Coquette. A flirt. Cornucopia. A container often used at Thanksgiving for floral arrangements, symbolic of a plentiful harvest, the property of being extremely abundant. Corresponding. Similar in character, form, or function, able to be matched, joined, or interlocked. 12th grade vocabulary words, teacher's list. Week 4. Criteria. A standard of judgment or criticism, a rule or principle for evaluating or testing something. Cryptogram. Something written in secret code, anything written in characters that are secret or so arranged as to have hidden meaning. Cull. To pick out from others, select, to gather the choice things or part form. Cynical. Doubtful or distrustful of the goodness or sincerity of human motives. Dauntless. Fearless, intrepid, very brave, valiant. Debase. To lower in character, quality, or value, to degrade, adulterate, to cause to deteriorate. Decadent. Decaying or decayed, especially in terms of morals, characterized by appealing to self-indulgence. Decorous. Exhibiting good taste in behavior or appearance, proper. Deduce. Reason out or conclude from known facts, infer, derive by reasoning. Defamation. An attack upon the reputation of a person, bad false things, slander or libel. Deference. Respect, courtesy, courteous regard for another's wish. Degradation. A decline to a lower condition, quality, or level, humiliation. Deleterious. Harmful to one's health or overall welfare, pernicious. Deluge. A flood, an inundation. Demonstrative. Characterized by the open expression of emotion, expressive. Denizen. An occupant, inhabitant, one who frequents a place. Derive. To take or receive from a source, obtain something from. Despondent. Depressed from loss of hope or confidence, utterly discouraged. Detriment. Harm or loss, injury, damage, a disadvantage, a cause of harm, injury, loss, or damage, devise. To think out, plan, figure out, invent, create. Twelfth grade vocabulary words, teacher's list. Week 5. Devoid. Without, completely lacking, empty. Diaphanous. Allowing light to show through, delicate, very sheer and light, almost completely transparent. Diatribe. A bitter and prolonged verbal attack. Didactic. A term used to describe writing that teaches a specific lesson or moral, instructive, intended to teach, particularly in having moral instruction as an ulterior motive. Diffusion. Passive movement from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration, the spreading of something more widely. Discern. To see clearly, recognize, to distinguish one thing from another. Discord. Lack of agreement or harmony, act of quarreling or conflict, strife. Disillusion. Freeing from false belief or illusions, to destroy someone's belief in or good opinion of someone or something, to disappoint. Disparity. An inequality, a gap, an imbalance. Disseminate. To scatter or spread widely, to go viral, to scatter. Dissonant. Not in harmony, disagreeing, at odds. Dissuade. To discourage from doing something through persuasion, to talk out of. Distend. Expand, swell out, to enlarge from internal pressure. Distinction. Honor, excellence, difference, contrast, discrimination, X. Graduated with distinction, X. A writer of real distinction. Divination. Foretelling the future using supranational means, the art or act of predicting the future or discovering hidden knowledge. Divulge. Reveal, to disclose something secret. Dogmatic. Authoritatively and or arrogantly assertive of principles, which often cannot be proved, stubbornly opinionated. Dregs. Noun plural, the last remaining part, the part of least worth. Earthenware. Anything made of clay and baked in a kiln or dried in the sun. Edify. To instruct for intellectual, moral, or spiritual improvement, to enlighten. 12th grade vocabulary words, teacher's list. Week 6. Efface. To wipe out, to keep oneself from being noticed. Efficacy. The ability to produce desired results. Egocentric. Thinking of only oneself, without regard for the feelings or desires of others. Egotist. One given to self-mention or who is constantly telling of his own views and experiences, a vain and conceited person. Elocution. The study of how to speak clearly in a way that is effective and socially acceptable. Embellish. To decorate or improve using small details, it also means to add imaginary details to a story. Emissary. Someone sent on a mission to represent the interests of someone else, an agent or messenger. Emphasis. A forceful quality in a way that something is said, done or written, special importance that is given to a word or phrase by saying it louder or higher, or by printing it in a special way. Emphasize. A special importance or attention given to something, to give special attention to something, to stress. Enfranchise. To endow with the rights of citizenship, especially the right to vote, to free from a form of bondage. Enmity. A feeling or condition of hostility, hatred, ill will, animosity, antagonism. Enshrine. Preserve, a right, tradition, or idea, in a form that ensures it will be protected and respected. Ensure. To guarantee or make certain. Epitome. A summary, condensed account, an instance that represents a larger reality, perfect example. Equanimity. Composure under stress, calmness. Equivocal. Ambiguous, intentionally misleading. Equivocate. To speak or act in a way that allows for more than one interpretation, to be deliberately vague or ambiguous. Erudite. Having or showing great knowledge. Esoteric. Intended for or understood by a small, specific group, confined to and understandable by only an enlightened inner circle. Aesthetic. Artistically pleasing and beautiful appearance. Twelfth grade vocabulary words, teacher's list. Week 7. Evangelical. Of or according to the teaching of the gospel or the Christian religion, having or showing very strong and enthusiastic feelings, zealous in advocating something. Evangelize. to preach the gospel, to try to convert a group or area to a different religion. Exasperate. To irritate or provoke to a high degree, annoy extremely. Exemplify. Serve as an example of, embody, to illustrate by example, to serve as a good example. Expectancy. A feeling that something is going to happen, the state of thinking or hoping that something, something pleasant, will happen or be the case. Explicate. Explain, interpret, clarify, to make plain or clear. Expostulate. Express strong disapproval or disagreement, to attempt to dissuade someone from some course or decision by earnest reasoning. Extemporaneous. Spoken or done without preparation, composed or spoken without preparation, offhand, impromptu, improvised. Extol. Praise, glorify, or honor. Extortion. The act or practice of obtaining from a person by force, intimidation, or undue or illegal power, especially money or other property. Facilitate. To make easier, to assist. Facsimile. An exact copy. Fallacious. False, misleading, logically unsound, deceptive. Fallacy. A false idea or way of thinking about something, especially one that many people believe is true, an invalid or incorrect notion, a mistaken belief. Fatuous. Silly, foolish, silly and pointless. Feign. To pretend to feel or be affected by something, to fake. Felicity. The state of being happy, especially in a high degree, bliss. Fervid. Intensely emotional, feverish. Fiasco. A complete failure, the complete collapse or failure of a project. Finality. The character of state of being final, settled, or completed. Twelfth grade vocabulary words, teacher's list. Week 8. Fixate. To look at or think about something constantly, give all your attention to something. Flamboyant. Having a noticeable quality that attracts a lot of attention, highly elaborate or ornate. Fluctuate. Change level, strength, or value often and irregularly, be unsteady. Foible. A minor weakness or failing of character, slight flaw or defect. Foresee. To think something is going to happen in the future, to predict. Foretell. To describe something before it happens. forego. To abstain from the use of enjoyment of, give up. Forte. Strong point, something a person does well. Forthright. Frank, direct and outspoken, straightforward. Framework. Basic conceptual structure, set of ideas or facts that provide support for something. Frigid. Extremely cold, lacking in warmth or feeling. Frivolity. The quality of lacking in seriousness or importance. Frivolous. Not having any serious purpose or value. Frolicsome. Full of merriment, playful. Fulcrum. The support or point of support on which a lever turns in raising or moving something, central point of activity. Furbish. To make lustrous, to give a new look to. Galore. Aplenty, in abundance, plentiful, abundant. Garrulous. Talkative, chatty, pointlessly talkative, talking too much. Genesis. An origin, creation, or beginning. Genteel. Refined, polite, aristocratic, affecting refinement. Twelfth grade vocabulary words, teacher's list. Week 9. Gnash. To grind or strike, the teeth, together, is pain, rage or pain. Gossamer. Something, usually fabric, extremely delicate, thin, light. Gourd. A squash used as a container for drinking or eating food. Grandiloquent. Speaking or expressed in a lofty style, often to the point of being pompous or bombastic. Granulate. Form or crystallize into grains or granules. Gratuitous. Given, done, bestowed, or obtained without charge or payment, voluntary. Gumption. Courage and initiative, common sense. Gyrate. Winding or coiled around, to rotate or revolve quickly, to spiral. Halcyon. Very happy and peaceful, of a past time. Harangue. To deliver a loud, ranting speech, to lecture. havoc, chaos or large-scale destruction. Heedless, showing a reckless lack of care or attention. Heinous, very wicked, offensive, hateful. Heresy, an opinion different from accepted belief, the denial of an idea that is generally held sacred. Hiatus, a break in the continuity of something. Hinder, to make it difficult for someone to do something or for something to happen. Hoodwink, to mislead by a trick, deceive. Horde, a vast number, as of people, a throng. Idiosyncratic, a structural or behavioral characteristic peculiar to an individual or group. Ignoble, not noble in quality, character, or purpose. Twelfth grade vocabulary words, teacher's list. Week 10. Illicit, considered morally wrong or unacceptable, not allowed by law. Imbroglio, a complex and confusing misunderstanding attended by embarrassment. Immaculate, containing no flaw or error, pure, spotless, absolutely clean, pure, faultless. Immaterial, irrelevant, of little importance. Impassive, revealing no emotion, expressionless. Impending, about to happen with suspense, to hover threateningly. Imperious, arrogantly domineering or overbearing, haughty. Impertinence, inappropriate playfulness, an impudent statement. Implement, put into effect, supply with tools. Implicate, to show to be involved with something, especially something dishonest or illegal. Implicit, suggested without being directly expressed, impelled. Improvident, failing to provide for the future, incautious, lacking foresight, thoughtless. Inane, without sense or meaning, silly. Incandescent, glowing with heat, characterized by ardent emotion or intensity, brilliant. Incidentally, adverb, apart from the main subject of attention, in a way that was not planned but that is connected with something else. Inclination, a liking or a preference, tendency, the act of leaning, moving in a particular way. Indicate. To be or give a sign about something, show. Indignant. Feeling or showing anger or annoyance at what is perceived as unfair treatment. Induct. Bring into a group as a member, initiate, enroll. Inert. Unmoving, lethargic, sluggish. Twelfth grade vocabulary words, teacher's list. Week 11. Infallible. Free from error, absolutely dependable, trustworthy. Infatuated. Filled with a foolish or extravagant love or admiration. Infirmary. A place to care for the sick and injured. Innocuous. Not likely to bother or offend anyone, harmless. Insipid. Without taste or flavor, lacking in spirit, bland, dull. Integral. Essential or necessary for completeness. Intelligible. Able to be understood, clear. Interim. Temporary, short term. Intrinsic. Belonging to someone or something by its very nature, essential, inherent, built in. Inundate. Overwhelm, flood, submerge. Ire. Fury, anger, wrath. Irksome. Irritating, annoying, tedious. Irony. The use of words to convey a meaning that is the opposite of its literal meaning. Irreverent. Disrespectful. Jocular. Humorous, jesting, joking. Jovial. Marked by hearty conviviality and good cheer, jolly. Jurisprudence. The science or philosophy of law. Juxtapose. To place different things together in order to create an interesting effect or to show how they are the same or different, side-by-side comparison. Keepsake. Something kept in memory of the giver, a souvenir. Kernel. Central or vital part, whole seed, as of corn. 12th grade vocabulary words, teacher's list. Week 12. Kinsfolk. Relatives, family members. Knavery. Rascality, dishonesty, dishonest or crafty actions. Lacerate. To tear or deeply cut something, especially flesh or skin, criticize severely. Linger. Lack of physical or mental energy, relaxed, tired. Latent. Used to describe something, such as a disease, that exists but is not active or cannot be seen. Laud. To praise highly, extol, glorify, or honor. Laudable. Praiseworthy, commendable. Leviathan. Any huge marine animal, anything of immense size and power. Likeness. The quality or state of being alike or similar, especially in appearance. Loquacious. Liking to talk and talking smoothly and easily, talkative. Lucrative. Bringing in money, profitable, producing a good profit. Luminescent. The emission of light by a substance that has not been heated, glowing. Macabre. Involving death or violence in a way that is strange, frightening, or unpleasant, gruesome. Malady. Bad health, illness, sickness. Malicious. Intending to hurt or harm another, spiteful. Malign. Evil in nature or effect, malevolent. Mania. An intense or extreme enthusiasm or excitement, craze. Manifest. To show clearly, especially a feeling, an attitude or a quality, show, reveal, display, evidence. Mannerism. A behavioral attribute that is distinctive and peculiar to some individuals. Martyrdom. The death or suffering of a martyr. Twelfth grade vocabulary words, teacher's list. Week 13. Mawkish. Excessively and objectionably sentimental, having a mildly sickening flavor. Meander. Follow a winding course, to wander at random. Melodrama. Drama in which many exciting events happen and the characters have very strong or exaggerated emotions. Mercenary. A professional soldier hired to fight in a foreign army. Metamorphosis. A magical change in form, a striking or sudden change, transformation. Metonymy. The substitution of the name of an attribute or adjunct for that of the thing meant, for example suit for business executive, or the track for horse racing. Metropolitan. Of, relating to, or denoting a metropolis, often inclusive of its surrounding areas, the Boston metropolitan area. Microcosm. Something, such as a place or an event, that is seen as a small version of something much larger. Mean. A person's or thing's appearance or facial expression, demeanor, a person's look or manner, is one of a particular kind indicating their character or mood. Misanthropic. Marked by a hatred or contempt for humankind, wanting to avoid human society. Miscreant. A person who behaves badly or in a way that breaks the law. Misogyny. Hatred of women. Momentary. Lasting a brief period of time. Monolith. A large single upright block of stone, isp. One shaped into or serving as a pillar or monument, a large and impersonal political, corporate, or social structure regarded as intractably indivisible and uniform. Morbid. In an unhealthy mental state extremely gloomy, caused by or related to disease, unwholesome, characterized by or appealing to an abnormal and unhealthy interest in disturbing and unpleasant subjects. Motley. Varied, made up of dissimilar parts, diverse, incongruously varied in appearance or character, disparate. Nefarious. Wicked in the extreme, iniquitous, criminal. Negate. Nullify, make ineffective, to deny the existence, evidence, or truth of, to cause something to be ineffective. Negligent. Failing to take proper or normal care of something or someone, careless. Negligible. Very small or unimportant, or small or unimportant as to be not worth considering, insignificant. 12th grade vocabulary words, teacher's list. Week 14. Nemesis. An unbeatable rival. Neophyte. A person who has just started learning or doing something. Nominal. Existing in name only, not real, too small to be considered or taken seriously. Nonentity. A person or thing of no importance, something that does not exist or exists only in the imagination. Notwithstanding. Preposition, in spite of, without being prevented by, something. Noxious. Harmful to living things, poisonous, deleterious. Nuptial. Of or pertaining to marriage or the marriage ceremony. Obituary. A notice of someone's death, such as in a newspaper, usually with a brief summary of that person's life. Obligatory. Morally or legally binding, required. Obsequious. Obedient, too eager to help or obey someone important. Obstinate. Stubborn, hard-headed, uncompromising. Officious. Meddling, excessively forward in offering services or assuming authority. Omnipotence. Quality of being all-powerful, unlimited power, as of God. Opaque. Impenetrable by light, difficult to understand or explain. Opulent. Very comfortable and expensive, extremely wealthy. Ornate. Excessively or elaborately decorated, using many fancy words. Ostentatious. Characterized by or given to pretentious display, showy. Ostracize. To not allow someone to be included in a group, shun, spurn. Outlandish. Strange and unpleasant, beyond accepted norm, unorthodox. Pageantry. Spectacle, display, ceremony, magnificence, pomp, splendor, grandeur. 12th grade vocabulary words, teacher's list. Week 15. Prodigal. Wastefully extravagant, lavishly or generously abundant. Prodigious. Extraordinary in amount or size, enormous, gigantic, huge, colossal. Protocol. The system of rules on the correct and acceptable way to behave in an official situation, the accepted or established code. Proverb. A brief, pithy saying, condensing in witty or striking form the wisdom of experience. Provident. Anticipating and making ready for future wants or emergencies, judicious, shrewd, forearmed, wise, sagacious. Provocation. The act of evoking anger, deliberate action or speech that makes someone annoyed or angry. Purgatory. An intermediate state where souls are made fit for paradise, a place of temporary punishment. Purloin. To steal, thieve, rob, take, snatch, pilfer. Qualitative. Relating to, measuring, or measured by the quality of something rather than its quantity, having to do with quality. Albatross. A source of frustration or guilt, an encumbrance, a burden you can't shake, a large seabird. artifice. Clever or cunning devices or expedients, as used to trick or deceive others, trickery, deceit, deception, duplicity, guile, cunning. Banal. Common, dull, ordinary. Cadence. Rhythmical or measured flow or movement, as in poetry or the time and pace of marching troops. A modulation in reading aloud is implied by the structure and ordering of words and phrases in written text. Raucous. Wild, disagreeably harsh sound, rough, rowdy, noisy, boisterous, wild, rebuff. To refuse in an abrupt or rude manner, to repel, turn down, spurn, refuse. Recede. To go back, to withdraw, move back, move away, withdraw, ep. Reciprocal. Given, felt, or done in return, requited, mutual, shared. Recoil. To start back as in dismay, loathing, or dread, to retreat, to draw back. Redolent. Strongly reminiscent or suggestive of something, evocative, suggestive, reminiscent. Juvenescence. The state or period of being young, youthfulness. Twelfth grade vocabulary words, teacher's list. Week 16. Palatial. Magnificent, resembling a palace and being spacious and splendid. Pallid. Pale or lacking color, pale faint in color. Paradox. A statement or doctrine seemingly in contradiction to the received belief, contradiction in terms, self-contradiction. Paragon. A model of excellence, shining example, model, epitome, archetype, ideal. Parameter. A determining or characteristic element, a factor that shapes the total outcome, a limit, boundary. Paramount. Greatest in importance, rank, and or character, chief in importance. Parlance. Language, idiom, a particular manner or kind of speech, jargon, lingo. Parody. An imitation that exaggerates for comic effect, a satirical imitation. Parsimonious. Stingy, excessively frugal, excessively cheap. Partition. That which separates anything into distinct parts, something that divides. Perfunctory. Half-hearted, performed merely as a routine duty, hasty and superficial. Perjure. To swear falsely to lie deliberately while under oath to tell the truth. Pernicious. Highly injurious or destructive, extremely harmful, deadly, fatal. Persistent. Tenacious, dogged, refusing to give up. Perturb. To trouble, make uneasy, to disturb greatly, to annoy. philosophize. To seek ultimate causes, principles, and truth, speculate, pontificate, preach, pillage. To rob of goods by open force, as in war, plunder. Pique. To arouse, interest, curiosity, etc., to irritate, provoke, annoy, pittance. Small amount, meager wage or allowance. Plaintive. Sorrowful, mournful, expressing melancholy. Twelfth grade vocabulary words, teacher's list. Week 17. Platitude. A tired, trite-old saying, a cliché. Plebeian. A commoner, one from the lower class. Ponderous. Unusually weighty or forcible, heavy, awkward, dull or labored. Populous. Full of people, filled to capacity, densely populated, having a large population. Portend. To be a sign or warning that something usually bad or unpleasant is going to happen. Pose. To set forth or offer for attention or consideration, to put or set in place. Pragmatic. Dealing with things sensibly and realistically in a way that is based on practical rather than theoretical, sensible, logical. Precipitate. To cause happen earlier than expected, bring about. Preliminary. In contract law, discussions between parties that usually lead one party to make an offer, introductory, initial, opening. Premise. A judgment as a conclusion, an assumption, the basis for a conclusion. Premonition. A feeling of something about to happen, forewarning of the future, a sense of a future event, a warning in advance. Preordain. To decree or ordain in advance, predetermine, determine. Preternatural. Extraordinary, out of the ordinary course of nature, abnormal. Primary. Most important, first, original. Privy. Sharing in the knowledge of, something secret or private, in the know about, acquainted fault with, secret, hidden, and not public. Progeny. Offspring, descendant. Proletarian. Working class, plebeian, common, blue collar. Prophecy. A prediction, a statement that tells what will happen in the future. Prosody. The rhythm and pattern of sounds of poetry and language. Protocol. Etiquette, conventions, formalities, customs, rules of conduct, a system of rules that explain the correct conduct and procedures to be followed in formal situations, systematic plan. 12th grade vocabulary words, teacher's list. Week 18. Prowess. Great ability or skill, extraordinary ability. Proxy. Power or authority that is given to allow a person to act for someone else, a person who is empowered by another to represent him or her in a given matter. Pseudonym. A name that someone, such as a writer, uses instead of his or her real name, alias, nickname. Pugnacious. Showing a readiness or desire to fight or argue, quarrelsome, fond of fighting. Pungent. Having a strong, sharp taste or smell, having a strong effect on the mind because of being clever and direct. Pusillanimous. Weak and afraid of danger, cowardly. Quackery. The methods and treatments used by unskillful doctors or by people who pretend to be doctors. Qualm. A feeling of doubt or uncertainty about whether you are doing the right thing, a feeling of uneasiness. Quandary. A situation in which you are confused about what to do, dilemma. Quarrelsome. Ready or likely to argue or disagree. Quell. To end or stop something, usually by using force, to calm or reduce something, such as fear or worry, to put down, to crush. Quibble. To argue or complain about small, unimportant things, argue over unimportant details. Quintessence. The essence of a thing in its purest and most concentrated form, the purest essence or form of something, the most typical example. Quixotic. Hopeful or romantic in a way that is not practical, idealistic but impractical, fanciful, impractical, and utopian. Rancor. An angry feeling of hatred or dislike for someone who has treated you unfairly. Ravage. To destroy or ruin, to destroy, lay waste, and ruin, to pillage. Rebuke. To speak in an angry and critical way to someone, to reprimand or scold sharply. Recalcitrant. Stubbornly refusing to obey rules or orders, unapologetic. Recant. To publicly say that you no longer have an opinion or belief that you once had, to withdraw formally one's belief in something previously believed or maintained. Receptive. Willing to listen to or accept ideas, or suggestions, open and responsive to ideas or suggestions. 12th grade vocabulary words, teacher's list. Week 19. Abet. To encourage, assist or support, usually in wrongdoing. Abhorrence. The act of detesting extremely, loathsome, aversion. Accession. The act or process by which someone rises to a powerful and important position, something that is added to a collection. Accompaniment. A subordinate part that enriches, or support, the leading part. Adjuration. A vehement appeal, a solemn oath, an earnest urging or advising. Amatory. Designed to excite love, of, relating to, or expressing sexual love. Animadversion. The utterance of criticism or censure. Ascetic. Given to severe self-denial and practicing excessive abstinence and devotion. Benediction. A solemn invocation of the divine blessing. Benign. Good and kind of heart. Beseech. To beg, implore, or plead. Blaze. A vivid glowing flame. Braggart. A vain boaster. Cajolery. Persuasion by flattery, wheedling, coaxing. Consumptive. Designed for gradual destruction. Contravene. To prevent or obstruct the operation of, to go against. Contrive. To manage or carry through by some device or scheme. To plan with cleverness or with evil intent. Contuse. To bruise by a blow, either with or without the breaking of the skin. Convalescence. The state of progressive restoration to health and strength after the cessation of disease. Convivial. Devoted to feasting, or to good fellowship in eating or drinking. 12th grade vocabulary words, teacher's list. Week 20. Corpulent. Excessively fat, portly, stout, obese. Corroborate. To strengthen, as proof or conviction. Culpable. Deserving blame, guilty, worthy of condemnation. Cupidity. An eager desire for something, avarice. Darkling. Adverb, blindly. Defalcate. Embezzle, funds with which one has been entrusted. Deign. Do something that one considers to be beneath one's dignity, condescend. Delude. Impose a misleading belief upon someone, deceive, fool. Demented. Describes the behavior of someone who is out of his mind, insane. Demise. A person's death. Denunciation. The act of declaring an action or person worthy of reprobation or punishment. Deplore. To feel or express regret or disapproval. Derelict. Neglectful of obligation, abandoned, run down. Deviltry. Reckless or unrestrained mischievous behavior, diabolical, wicked. Dispensation. An act or instance of dispensing, distribution. Distraught. Distracted, deeply agitated, mentally deranged, crazed. Doleful. Causing grief or sadness, mournful, dolorous, lugubrious. Dolor. Lamentation, sorrow, grief. Done. To make a demand or repeated demands on for payment of debt, hound, pester, harass, nag. Ebullient. Showing enthusiasm or exhilaration of feeling, high-spirited. 12th grade vocabulary words, teacher's list. Week 21. Eccentricity. A strange behavior, idiosyncrasy. Effeminate. Having womanish traits or qualities. Effulgence. Shining brightly, radiant splendor. Encomium. A formal expression of praise, eulogy, panegyric, commendation. Encroach. To invade partially or insidiously and appropriate the possessions of another, trespass. Enrapture. To delight extravagantly or intensely. Erudition. Extensive knowledge of literature, history, language, etc., scholarly knowledge. Estimable. Deserving respect or admiration. Eugenic. Relating to the development and improvement of race. Excrescence. Any unnational addition, outgrowth, or development. Fiducial. Indicative of faith or trust. Fulminate. Denounce thunderously, explode. Garrote. To execute by strangling. Gestation. Pregnancy. Guileless. Innocent, honest from a complete inability to deceive. heartrending, causing mental pain or grief, depressing. Homage, special respect or honor, worship. Humane, having the worthy qualities of human beings, such as kindness or compassion. Humbug, deceptive or false talk or behavior. Illimitable, without bonds in extent or size or quantity, limitless. Twelfth grade vocabulary words, teacher's list. Week 22. Imminent, dangerous and close at hand. Immortalize, to cause to last or to be known or remembered throughout a great or indefinite length of time. Immutable, not subject to change, constant. Impeccable, without sin or blemish, blameless. Imperative, necessary, obligatory. Imperil, to endanger. Impermissible, impermissible. Imperturbable, not easily excited, emotionally steady, calm. Impiety, irreverence toward God, wickedness. Imprudent, not showing care for the consequences of an action, rash, heedless. Impugn, to assail by words or arguments, oppose or attack as false or lacking integrity. Inadvertent, resulting from or marked by lack of attention, unintentional, accidental. Inapt, awkward or slow. Inception, the start or beginning of something. Incessant, continuing without pause or interruption, unceasing. Incompetence, general lack of capacity or fitness. Indigence, poverty, penury. Indiscriminate, without restraint or control, unselective, promiscuous. Indolence, inclination to avoid exertion, laziness, sloth. Inebriate, become drunk or drink excessively, to intoxicate. Twelfth grade vocabulary words, teacher's list. Week 23. Ingenious, evincing skill, originality, or cleverness, as in contrivance or arrangement. Engraft. To set or implant deeply and firmly. Ingratiate. To make oneself agreeable in order to gain acceptance. Inimical. Unfriendly, hostile, injurious. Inroad. Forcible encroachment or trespass. Insatiable. That desires or craves immoderately or unappeasably. Inscrutable. Incapable of being understood. Insidious. Proceeding in a gradual, subtle way, but with harmful effects, treacherous, crafty. Insolence. Pride or haughtiness exhibited in contemptuous and overbearing treatment of others. Insular. Narrow-minded. Insurgent. One who takes part in forcible opposition to the constituted authorities of a place. Intemperance. Having or showing lack of self-control, gluttony. Intermit. To cause to cease temporarily. Intestacy. The condition resulting from one's dying not having made a valid will. Intestate adjective not having made a valid will. Invective. An utterance intended to cast censure, or reproach. Invidious. Offensive, hateful, tending to cause bitterness and resentment, envy. Inviolable. Incapable of being injured or disturbed. Irascible. Easily angered. Irradiance. Luster. Irreducible. That cannot be lessened. Twelfth grade vocabulary words, teacher's list. Week 24. Irrefrangible. Not to be broken or violated, inviolable. Irreparable. Impossible to repair, rectify or amend. Itinerant. Traveling from place to place, wander. Jargon. Confused, unintelligible speech or highly technical speech. Jaundice. Prejudice, bias, a yellowish discoloration of the skin. Laggard. A person who moves slowly or falls behind, falling behind, slow to move, act, or respond. Lave. To wash or bathe. Libel. False and defamatory printed, or written, statement. Ligature. Anything that constricts, or serves for binding or tying. Liqueficient. Possessing a liquefying nature or power. Lithe. Easily bent, gracefully limber. Liturgy. A prescribed form or set of forms for public religious worship, a ritual. Lunacy. The state of being a lunatic, insanity. Lurid. Ghastly and sensational, shocking. Luxuriance. Excessive or superfluous growth or quantity. Malediction. A curse, an evil statement, that someone says. Manumit. Free from bondage, set free. Matricide. The killing, especially the murdering, of one's mother. Maudlin. Foolishly and tearfully affectionate. Mellifluous. Sweetly or smoothly flowing. Twelfth grade vocabulary words, teacher's list. Week 25. Mendacious. Lying, untruthful, false. Mendicant. A beggar. Meretricious. Alluring by a show of flashy or vulgar attractions, tawdry. Messieurs. Plural, gentlemen. Meet. To distribute or apportion by all as if by measure, to allot. Modish. Related to style of dress characterized by bold colors and unconventional design, fashionable. Monomania. Excessive concentration on one idea or subject. Monstrosity. Anything unnaturally huge or distorted. Morale. A state of mind with reference to confidence, courage, and zeal. Moribund. Approaching death, about to die, on the verge of becoming obsolete. Munificence. A giving characterized by generous motives and extraordinary liberality. Mutilate. To disfigure. Oblivion. The state of having passed out of the memory or of being utterly forgotten. onerous, burdensome or oppressive, troublesome. Onslaught. A violent attack, a sudden rush of something. Opprobrium. The state of being scornfully reproached or accused of evil. Palinode. A retraction. Pauper. One who is extremely poor, one living on public charity. Penance. Punishment to which one voluntarily submits to. Perturbation. Mental excitement or confusion. Finished.